uncovering the light. Guess with solid minds, no tales of the strange. In Sasquatch Secrets, they'll begin to rearrange. Truth's the vibe, we're on a quest. Look beyond the trees, what do you see? Factual stories redefining history. No myths, no magic, let's break the mold. With every word spoken, new wonders unfold. Footprints in the snow, not just a myth. Data and research was sift through the pit. Tales of a creature, but science leads the way. Nikki's quest for knowledge, come join and stay.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Sasquatch Secrets. I'm your host, Nikki Colon. I'm so happy you guys could be here. I had a nice little break last weekend. It was needed. Trust me, it was needed. And even today, seems like Sunday, Mondays are my days off lately. So Sundays I'm running around doing, all my errands and trying to catch up on the week. But anyway, I got all that done and I hurried home to quickly put a show together, and we'll see how that comes out. Right? We're just talking Sasquatch or a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but I didn't invite anybody on. If anybody wants to come on, shoot me a message and I'll send you the link. But we're just going to talk about a little bit of everything today. Let's look at who we've got in the chat today. We've got Grasshopper. Hey, what's up there, David? Just Steve, good to see you. Henry, hey Henry. Sandra Piper, always love you, girl. Jen, how you doing? Gosh, it's been a while. We need to catch up. I've just been working so much, guys. You haven't seen me around because I've been working, and then when I get home, I crash. I literally just, I'll make dinner, do, chat with the girls, and then I go straight to my bedroom. I sit on my favorite chair, I put on the news or whatever I'm watching, and I fall asleep in my chair until one of the kids comes and say, "Mom, go to bed." We've got, who else do we have in there? Angel, good to see you. And Danny, greetings from South Carolina. How are you doing, Danny? I haven't seen you in a while. Matthew Sims. Hey, Matthew's made it to alive. How are you doing? He's one of my number one commenters on my shows. So thank you for that. I appreciate the support and all the comments. Kind of, we should have organized better, and then I could have met you while I was up there in Canada. Maybe next time. Who else do we have? Oh, there's John, Sasquatch Wizard, Adirondacks. Good to see you. I'm sure he's probably driving home. Relicommon, how are you? Good to see you as well. Finding the Trackway. There he is. Where's Mrs. Trackway? I'm sure she's down there somewhere. If I missed you, I love you. And so today is Groundhog's Day. You guys believe in that stuff? So today, Puxatawny Phil predicted that we are going to have 6 more weeks of winter. Wah. Who's sad about that? It's been cold here. It's dipped into the teens finally for us. So that's a lot. And it's hard for us because our homes are not built for the cold, they're built for the heat. So things tend to freeze up really fast here. We don't have our plumbing deep in the ground. They're up close to the top, so a lot of people have issues with freezing pipes and stuff like that. But we're okay, and we're dealing with it over here, and hope everybody else is surviving the winter and the wind. Good Lord, we had a lot of wind this last week. So things get blown around over here a lot. It's hard to keep your car clean for sure. Jen's talking about Baron, her dog. Hope everything's well with him. And what do you guys think? You think Sasquatch cares that we're going to have 6 more weeks of winter, if we even do? I don't know if we will or not. I don't know. What do you think? I think it's going to warm up. I think things are going to be normal, just as, we're going to start seeing after. I think February will still be cold. It will definitely still feel like winter. And March will come, and before you know it, Easter and spring. So we have a very fast spring and a very fast fall here in the Southwest. It almost seems like we go straight from winter to summer and vice versa, summer to winter. We have very small fall and springs here. There's a squatching cowboy. Joe, what's up? Good to see ya. There's Robert Denduin. He snuck in too. With a plethora of fairly new podcasts on Bigfoot, do you think there are more questionable content or a new source of info? That's a great question, Robert. I think more question, but I'm definitely lean towards the more questionable content. And we're going to get into something that relates to this question. So I'm glad you asked it. For sure, we're going to go into this. But what else have we got? I'm just trying to round up some news because so much has happened in the last week. I'm going to star your question, and we're going to come back to that. So we've got the Super Bowl next week. Wow. It is going to be at I'm trying to remember at the name of the venue, the Caesars Superdome or something like that in New Orleans, Louisiana. And in light of, they had that terrorist thing happen with that guy running over people and shooting and everything. And I'm sure they're, everything's going to be really security priority there. But that's going to be happening, and it's going to involve the Chiefs again, Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles again. They played 2 years ago. This is the third time the Chiefs are going to be in the Super Bowl. Wow, and there's been some controversy, or I don't know if it's controversy or not, involving the Chiefs, but some say it's all unwarranted and just speculative and some jealous people out there. But I don't know. I love to watch the Super Bowl. So I don't even know if we'll have a show next week, but they're not my teams. I kind of like the West Coast teams. So I'm not like totally invested. I'm sure some of you are totally invested in that. However, I haven't watched football this year like I normally do. And I'm usually pretty excited for the Super Bowl. And I don't know. I just I'm not interested as much this year. And the Super Bowl performing for the halftime show is Kendrick Lamar. I think he's like a hip hop superstar, and I don't like him, so that's that's not gonna get me like to be watching everything that's gonna be going on for the Super Bowl. I think the Chiefs are favored to win, like by a point or two, but I don't know. What are you guys thinking? You think the Eagles might win? The Hunter says. I don't know. I haven't looked at the Eagles. Like they got anybody hurt? I don't know what their injury list looks like. So I haven't paid it like I haven't paid attention, and I usually do, and I have more answers about my thoughts on the Super Bowl, but who knows who could take this game this time. But let me see what you guys are saying. And let's see. Okay. Eagles can beat the Chiefs, but hard to beat the refs. Oh, do you think there's a little controversy with those refs, huh? The ref this year, the one referee is Ron Torbett. Torbert. I don't know, something like that. Just I recall that because I was watching the news and they had mentioned that. It'll be interesting. I don't know. Who else is going to be with Kendrick Lamar? I don't see where it says who else is going to be with him. Does anybody else know? Ooh, let's see right here. Let's see what this says. Kendrick Lamar. That's all it says. Oof, that's a bright. No, it doesn't say anything about that. Oh, an ad popped up. Okay. But anyway, I just hope it's a good game. I just want a good game. That's what we need. Kansas City won last year by like 3 points, and then Kansas City won the year prior to Philadelphia. Also by 3 points. It was a close. Both of them were close, like within 3 points. So it's gonna. I think it could possibly be another close one for sure. Some girl singer I never heard of. It's a guy, Kendrick Lamar. So anyway, it'll be interesting to see. Maybe we'll watch it together. I don't know. But so that's coming up. And then crazy plane crashes in the last couple of weeks. Thoughts and prayers go out to anybody involved, anybody who had loved ones. I mean, like there's 5 off the top of my head. The big one being the Washington, D.C. midair collision with the U.S. Army Black Hawk. And then there's the South Sudan crash that hasn't gotten a whole lot of news, I guess. But that was an Eagle Air something or another. A light air service crashed after takeoff in South Sudan. And then Fullerton, California, right where I used to live on the end of Fullerton in Buena Park. And the airplanes used to go right over our apartment. And there was a crash there on the 2nd. Today, earlier. No, that was January 2nd. That was January 2nd. And then Philadelphia medical plane crash that just happened on the 31st. That one's super sad. They were transporting uh, a child patient. And then there was another one in Santa Barbara that landed right off the 101, crashed right off the 101. Those two people had major injuries, but they are alive. So crazy. All that, going on, and the conspiracy theories that are coming up because of that. But anyway, I just wanted to touch on that there was a lot that happened this week, and but we'll get back to topic at hand, which is, what do you think? And that's why I talked about this. What do you think about that stuff? It led me to some stuff that I had read online on Facebook, of course. And my friend, Dr. John Baranchak, had placed a question out in regards to, how do I put this? The state of Bigfoot research, and have we lost focus on research between the groups? Has it all become about the money, the clicks, the views? It seems like some groups, that's the case. And we've talked about this before. I was looking at the plane behind and the one that warned about. Yes, Sasquatch Wizard. I agree. But it's really playing people off of each other who, Jay, thank you so much for that. Jay just donated 10 Sasquatch Secrets memberships. It is completely appreciated. Thank you so much. Also this one.
Whoa! Whoa!
Whoa! Yeah, Jay, that's for you. Thank you again for always supporting me and my channel. I appreciate it. So we're talking about this, and the discussion, I wish I had copied it, screenshot the whole discussion between Dr. Baranchak and Brian from Sasquatch Odyssey. But it brought up a lot of things that we've talked about before, and it was just, I don't know, it seemed like things are going that way, that more people are trying to build their channels. And I mean, I'm trying to build my channel as well, but I don't know. I guess I'm just not as focused anymore on that part. I had one goal in mind, just so that I could unlock special features on YouTube, because you have to have over 1,000 to be able to do some stuff on here. And was my goal. I reached it. And then, I don't know, it just didn't become, of course, it's not my livelihood. Okay. I can see where if somebody wanted to make this their number one job, then yeah, you're going to try to definitely, you have different priorities. And I'm not. This is just a hobby, it's fun, and I like to stir up those questions of what and why we do this. Talk about Bigfoot, talk about the research, getting into all those little details of who's telling the truth, and why do I care? That's something that's always asked of me and asked of other skeptics is, why do you care what's going on or what we do or what we say? And because it has a bearing on things that are going to happen in the future and what new people who come into this field discover and learn. You know, they want answers, but if they get sucked into baloney, who's going to tell them it's baloney? There has to be checks and balances. And that's not a bad thing. You know, it's a good thing to have that. Why do I do this? Yeah. Why do we do Bigfoot research? You know, and because there are people out there who say they're doing Bigfoot research. I'm not doing Bigfoot research. I may investigate when I'm out there, but I don't go out there like Bran and Tristan and Trackway and Jonathan, Sasquatch Wizard. I don't go out there all the time, and I don't record all my stuff. I have a good time with it, and that's what I appreciate. And I appreciate them because I know that looking at their evidence and video, okay, their evidence of their what they've written down, their collection of evidence, that I can find them reliable, you know, to not try to pull the wool over my eyes. But there are some who will say, this happened, but then they have nothing to back it up, you know? So why people will flock to them, you know, all of them, for saying, oh, Bigfoot is out there in my bush in my backyard. You know, there's a portal down back there in that bush. There's a portal out of that tree over there, and they come and visit me, or they come to my back door and ask for food, or, you know, I talk to them and I do this, but there's not one lick of evidence for any of that. People can make up any story they want to, and it will gain traction because people want to believe it's so bad, you know. And I think tonight Steve Culls is going to talk about the massacre, the Bluff Creek massacre, some tonight. So I won't even go into that. That, you know, is one of the big blow-ups in this community, right? Is Bluff Creek. And I think it stands the same as the Sierra Sounds. People want to believe in those Sierra Sounds. And people want to believe in the P&G film. And people want to believe in all of these major, what would be called the major events of, you know, Bigfooting. And some don't have any evidence, you know, just like the Bigfoot tree, until you go and you, like what Brent did, and he researched it and he found his answers. And then he tried to tell everybody, no, there's no Bigfoot down there. It's just these married trees and they're making noises. But people don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear the truth. I have to go back over here. Ooh, I almost just ended the stream. That was close. That was really close. Okay, let's see. Nikki, in my opinion, it is very necessary to police the Bigfoot community and help guide the newbies, because a newbie may be the one that gets the unthinkable evidence, and they need to do it right. Yes, that's a great answer, John. It's that simple, you know. And I had a show, Bigfoot Police or Mafia, Squatch Mafia, where we touched in all of that. And it almost comes down to that. And the Bigfoot Police, which many of us have been called, or, you know, insinuated that we were like that. get a bad rap for that. You know, you're skeptics. You don't believe in anything. We're the bad guys, you know, in all of this because we don't believe, but we do believe. And that's what many of them don't understand is that wholeheartedly we believe and we have passion for this community and for the research and the investigation. So don't tell us we're not. We just want real answers that aren't fluff. You know, I don't like the fluff. I like the truth, whether it be good or bad. Just tell me the truth and then we'll move on from there. And but a knock in the woods is just a knock in the woods. You know, a sound, a whoop, a knock, a whistle, they're just that. Until you see what's making it, you don't know. You don't know what that is. You know, many animals we've already discovered make all these sounds. Chipmunks can make a knocking sound. Deer can growl. You know, there are all kinds of coyotes make 1,000 different sounds. You cannot know all of them. So, last good proof, nothing. We really didn't have. The only thing that has stood time is the P&G film, only because it was a video, right? There were footprints to go with that video. And there was still controversy about it. You know, I have my doubts about it, but it still holds that high place in, you know, in our hierarchy. That's the kind of evidence that I would like to see again. You know, and we had the Freeman footage, but things with the Freeman footage have kind of fallen apart over the years after we've found several people who have done their due diligence to look into the footprints that were found and how ridiculous they look, and including the Sierra Sounds. You know, there's footprints associated with the Sierra Sounds, and I think Brent posted it onto his Facebook, the tall ones. They're ridiculous looking. They show no movement. They're just flat feet, you know, the flat push down, no movement, no splay, no nothing. But people are like, there it is. There's the proof. It's a footprint. You know, anybody can do that. Anybody. And yeah, that's how it's going to be. You know, we're really going to have to get a good video because pictures aren't going to do it. We already know that pictures aren't going to make it. Let me go back up here because I saw some good. Jen says, I was lucky when I came in to this. I found Joe and Nikki and a few other solid people right away. That's great. Yeah, you found Joe. Joe was so into what these things were. You know, he really wanted to know where they came from. You know, he knew all the Australopithecus and he knew, you know, all the whole lineage of everything. And he was so into that. He was my go-to for learning that. And he's greatly missed for being that way. No evidence of massacre. I'm pretty sure it was a story made up. Yeah, the whole massacre was made up by several different people, you know, and people don't even want to believe that. Listen, if there was a massacre and there was a whole bunch of Bigfoots buried out there, we would be able to have dug them up and found that evidence by now. And even the people claiming that they knew where they were would have done that already. So it's ridiculous, and that shouldn't even be thought about. And changing colors on films to fit your storyline is ridiculous. You know, you don't saturate it with reds and stuff so that you can say, oh, there's blood. That whole puddle is bloody. That dog print is blood. You know, that one dog print is bloody. Just ridiculous. It's all ridiculous. What else? Robert says, who are the police, though? It is a slippery slope. It is a slippery slope because you're talking about what I try to do, what Steve Calls does, what Brent does, and all we're doing is calling out the ridiculousness, okay? And we're not even the police part. You know, there's no laws saying you can't fake a footprint. There's no laws saying you can't fake a story. That's all fair game. You can do that. Just like I can say you're full of bullshit. You know, when you say that, when you show those footprints or you show whatever you want to, just like you can make up the story, I can call bullshit on it. Or any one of us. I don't have to have proof. You have to have proof that it's real. You know, that's the whole thing. And that'll go back and forth. The person with the evidence will say, well, prove me wrong. I'm not going to prove them wrong, you know, because there's way more of the believers in anything than the believers who are skeptical about the evidence, like me. So it is a very slippery slope. And there's many things I would love to talk about. And there's some things I know I won't touch because, you know, some of these people who put out content, their followers will bury me. They will not hesitate to bury my channel if they don't like what they hear. You know, and you know who those really big channels are. Right, Matthew. Don't grab your hair samples with your bare hands. You know, it wasn't even 8-9 years ago. We didn't have protocols for collection of evidence. And you had many researchers saying, look at this hair, look what I got, you see that, you know, and they would play with it and pull on it, and oh my gosh, what a mess in the early days. Kaiju says a lot of newbies get caught up with the wrong people when they start out, sadly, and today it's worse than ever with Facebook groups and such. Very easy for people to get involved with the wrong crowd. Yeah, you know, we've all done that. You know, there has been many groups I have joined, many researchers I have started to watch, loved them in the beginning. And as I've gone on, I realized, you know, where did that come from? How do you know that? How do you know they call their children like that? How do you know that they eat that? You know, why are you feeding it peanut butter, for goodness sakes? You know, it irritates me that people seem to know so much about Bigfoot and we can't find them. But people know about them. You know, they love peanut butter and chocolate and they love donuts. Yet we don't see any of the evidence. People show their feeding stumps. What do you call gifting stumps and stuff? And they're leaving all kinds of shitty food for them out there. And any animal in the whole forest is going to smell that sweet and come for it. And you're calling it Bigfoot. And you don't set up a damn camera. Oh, but Bigfoot doesn't like to have their picture taken. Makes me sick. Last good proof. Bobcats. Oh my gosh, yes. Bobcats make a horrendous sound. Scary, scary yelling sound. So do foxes. Foxes make a really eerie sound. Howler monkeys. Howler monkeys do, but we don't have howler monkeys here. Now Florida has some monkeys out there in their Everglades somewhere. I don't know what they sound like, but my hair thing is falling off my head. Let's see. What do you say, Robert? I used the term police. Maybe it wasn't the best choice. But to answer your question, it's a shared responsibility, and many of us here are the police striving for a common goal. Yeah, we are striving. We just want to put all our ideas together, and communicate. And some of us can get along with that other side, the woo side even. I have many friends in this community who are woo. It's okay. I don't care what they believe in, as long as they don't try to make me believe in it, and I don't have the right to make them believe in it. But we can both make a good argument, that's okay. It's all right. It's so important to have fun while you're doing this. Otherwise, why do it? People think we're making a lot of money. And yeah, you can make a little bit of money doing some conferences. Yeah, you can make a little bit of money selling t-shirts and mugs and hats and stuff like that. But it is not going to make you rich. It may fund you for the next little trip or something. But unless you are charging $6,000 a conference plus airline and all all accommodations, then you're making money at this, and yeah, some of the big names, that's how much they're charging for a day spot on a Sasquatch conference, charging about $6,000 plus all of travel expenses, hotel expenses, meal stipends, all of that is, they charge all of that. And that's where sponsors come in. When you have those big conferences, it's important to have some big time sponsors who can put $1,000 up, and you get 10 sponsors, and then you can start, hiring talking heads to come and pull in the crowds, because we all want to go see them and hear what they have to say for ourselves. And we probably don't like everything that they say, but we still go see them. I would, if they were closer to me, I would go to more. Jay says there are several of us in here now that have had experiences and have talked about it a few times. We're here still searching the answers ourselves. Yep. You are. And you're a knower. You know what you saw, and you still have questions about how that came about. Just wanted to come back. Let's see. The only analogy with police for me is that those that do it, they have to show their evidence like the police have to. Right. Yeah, it's important to have receipts when you do, stuff like this. Just like my book, of Book of Shame over here is that's my evidence, you know. If you put something up and I say, nope, that's not what that is this, and here is why, and I will show something from my book or tell them where you can go find the answers to that, because you can still show people, listen, that is an illustration done by Odell in 19 whatever, and he was hired to do this, and people still won't believe it. You could tell them exactly where it came from and who did it, and they still won't believe it. I think I'm way behind in the chat. No doubt some people who present evidence of Bigfoot have no concept to thoroughly document their finds and try to show that they tried to debunk that evidence themselves. That's true. So a few do, but mostly I'm finding that channels that have a high subscription rate, higher subscribers, they get sucked in. They get sucked into the, an easy couple $100 a month thing, and let's just keep that going instead of doing the whole 9 yards of investigating and showing, well, it could be this, or maybe it's not this, Too quick to call everything Bigfoot, in my opinion. And I've had something happen to me, something came up to my tent. I don't know what it was. I didn't know I was going to freeze. I didn't know that. This whole time, I felt brave and able to walk out in the dark and all of this. And the minute that happened, I wasn't about to move. So, there's nothing I can do about that. It gave me something to think about, but I don't know what it was. Nobody will ever know what it was. Do I think it was Bigfoot? I don't know. I can tell you, I don't think it was a bear. Heard some snorts and some other kinds of noises, some sniffs, something, and there was none of that for sure. Thanks, Tristan. Tristan just sent me a whole list of speaking engagements for Dr. Jeff Meldrum. Nikki, you just need to join the Fellowship of the Foot or the Car Alarm Club. I almost was a member of that when my fob on my truck was so cold out there that I couldn't, my battery on my fob went out, and I had to sit there and warm my fob because I knew if I opened my door, my alarm and my truck would go off. The last time I was out there on the mountain. But I warmed it up enough to it started to work again. And when I got back to town, I did go get a new battery on my fob. And my mom found that scat pile 20 feet away from her gifting stump. What did you say? Because other people say this stuff and people hear it, just like the UFOs and the portal thing, and people believe it, so it makes everything messed up. Yeah, they want to hook everything together, before you have the evidence that it should be together. It's kind of my thought. Yeah, maybe that stuff is happening, but how can you say they belong together? Because I know there's some weird shit that happens out there. Peanut butter cups. That's funny. I think I'm way behind. Oh wait. Right now, in my opinion, peanut butter jar makes sounds like that because making lists inside a jar is a powerful collection of evidence. Well, I'm just saying everything loves peanut butter. That's fine. I'm just saying you shouldn't feed wild animals, period. Unless it's something that they already can get at. Nuts, berries, maybe apples. Like in Arizona, there are wild apple orchards around. Do you guys have that? Like in the 1700s, they had apple orchards, and then they just went. People left, and they were just left on their own. So they come up, and there's several wild apple orchards around. So those are things that they can get. That's natural. They already can eat that. Introducing human food, it's a bad idea all the way around. Let's see. Nikki, did you see Melvin? Oh, yeah. He was dropped from Squatch Fest because he was asking for too much money. Well, yeah, $6,000 is a lot of money. You could hire 3 or 4 speakers for that. I talked with Cliff about this. He says it pays the bills, but it doesn't make an easy living. Yeah, I believe that, let me see. If anybody has chatted me here, I didn't answer. It's because I'm prepping dinner. Oh, nice. What are you making for dinner? I took the girls out. One of my kids got a haircut, so after that we went for breakfast. And now I'm getting a little bit hungry. Let's see what else. Armadillos sound like 100-pound monster. And walking beside you. Oh, in the dark. Yeah. Hey, it doesn't matter how big. When we were up there on Mount St. Helens, I kept hearing something little. I was thinking it was a mouse, and it wasn't. It was a little frog, about little bitty frog. It was little bitty frogs I was hearing jumping around in the foliage. But at night, your hearing gets better. You losing your eyesight, but your hearing and your smell get better out there. Chicken and rice. Yummy. Oh, I finally reached the bottom. Okanagan Valley, yeah, armadillos. They're more east from where I am at. We don't have armadillos right here, but anyway, so have groups lost focus? Do you think, you guys? I'm talking to the chat now. Do you guys feel that some groups have lost focus? Like if you were to have your favorite group that you always watch, maybe Hellbent Holler, maybe what's another big one that's out there right now? Maybe you watch Randy Harrington's stuff, maybe you watch Olympic Project. Well, Olympic Project hasn't really put out a whole lot. There's different groups, okay? out there that are seemingly to hitting the woods a lot. You watch a lot of Untold Radio. Well, they have a bunch of different type of shows on Untold. Is it the group or is it the audience? Well, I guess every individual is going to watch, like I was saying earlier, that when people are just putting out whatever, yeah, it was over there and I heard, a howl and we heard a yip and we heard a whatever and and it, this Bigfoot was calling to this other Bigfoot, and that I don't like the assumptions when you're making assumptions that it's instantly a Bigfoot, Yeah, the money. A few want to find the truth. Many who do want to find the truth have dropped off of social media entirely. They've said, forget this, Bigfoot Journal with Mike Lucci. Yeah, he talks about some good stuff on his new show. Kaiju says the problem is many of these Bigfoot cryptid productions aren't sharing anything new or significant, right? You're right about that. Hey, EC, Desert Rat Gardener is in the house. Good to see you. How's the weather up there? You still have snow? Um, yeah, it does take a lot to go out there by yourself. You really have to be prepared for all kinds of stuff. Like I still don't have a beacon. So I don't go very far away from a main road. And I have bad knees. So if I get myself in trouble, I could get myself into a lot of trouble. So I know what my weaknesses are. So I stay on trails that are frequented, not like great, but it's a warm this week, high 50s, low about freezing. Yeah, that's good. It fits me, lazy cowboy. I already have a lazy cowboy. Um, Lazy cowboy is Ed from England. I'm surprised he's not here tonight. Probably fell asleep. Oh, he is here. Duh. I didn't see him on here. I thought Joe was just saying that. That's funny. I didn't know you were here. Hey Ed. Same old crap, all new shows, nothing new to the world, says Grasshopper. It's true. It's true. It gets hard to come up with content or to talk about different stuff. You know, it was quite the stir though between Baron Chalk and Brian, both trying to defend their own thoughts about um how to talk about Bigfoot, I guess. Because I'm sure Brian does his own research on his property and stuff. I don't know how much he is into the investigation or he's just has stuff going on his own property. And I know Dr. Baranchuk has gone out in the past but I don't know how much new stuff he's doing. So, I don't know. I did. What else did I have on here? I had. Oops, sorry. Taking evidence at face value. That's what I was talking about earlier, is the whole proof thing. Lisa's Adventures doesn't show up on YouTube search. Oh, thought you were talking about something else. It irks me that people take evidence as fact immediately, Mike Sierra. Oh, hey, Mike. Bigfoot audience has two main subtypes: people who want to research and people who just want to be entertained. And that's true. That's why encounter story channels do so good, because people just want to hear the story, hear the encounter. And it doesn't have to be real, believe it or not, because your mind is going to want to believe it's real no matter what you're hearing. So the content creator can create the whole thing from scratch every week or every day, however often they put up their content. But there's no way to prove that story is real. Zero. They can say, oh, this came from John Smith in 1987. This happened in Cedar Rapids somewhere. Are you going to go really find John Smith, Cedar Rapids 20 years ago? No. There's no way to verify this stuff. So you can put a whole list of information and make all of it up. You can even make up your own photos. You can make up your own trail camera photos. You can put the line at the bottom with the date and the name of the name, mark the date, the time stamp. You can make it all up. You don't even have to do that. Now you have Chat GPT or any other AI service now. That'll do it for you. And that's what dilutes the truth, and it's getting harder to find the truth and to find who's doing that. I mean, you have your regular suspects who are going to do it till the day they die. You're going to have, what's his name? Oh my God, Sonny Vader. Okay, you're going to have the Sonny Vaders out there with his same damn blue costume, Bigfoot, fluffy head thing. And he's going to be standing behind his tent and he's going to get new photos and he's going to release them. And, it's the same Bigfoot he's had encounters with for already 15, 20 years. I like Mike Wanders. I like the one he went to Mount St. Helens. And I like the one where he went to the Bluff Creek one was good. And I'm going through his series too, Joe. But I like Mike Wanders. People, they want to believe. And I'm not trying to take anything away from them, because generally people who just want that stay away from all this Bigfoot political stuff. Okay. And that's what it is. It's a lot of, well, I say this, you say that, garbage. But for those who are just fly by night people who don't really care about the research, they just want to hear the stories. They want to put them on at night and go to bed and hear, I was walking in the woods and a Bigfoot ran in front of me, or I was walking in the woods and I heard this sound and it was following me for 10 miles and I was scared out of my mind. And then I saw a flash go by. You could make up so many stories of scary things. They're all could be made into the movie of the month. You could just take those and make them into and make them scary or make them happy, make them letters to the big man or make them exist. It doesn't matter. Oh, I didn't even see you wanted a link. Copy. I'll just post it here. Did that come out right? Yeah, it did. Okay. Lisa? Who's Lisa? Did I miss something? Anyway. So let me see. What did I write? In many Bigfoot communities take certain evidence as fact despite of the hardcore proof. So I mentioned earlier, people accept the Sierra sounds, and that's been a big topic behind the scenes lately. We've been talking about Sierra sounds and are they genuine and why should we believe they're genuine? And 911 calls. Eric from Media Palace. You don't know who that is? Go look up Media Palace and subscribe. He does his research. Okay. He absolutely gets the receipts for everything he says. He's the FOIA king. I dub him the FOIA king because he can request anything, and he waits them out months to get answers. And if he says, hey, I put in a FOIA request for those 911 the 911 incidents and there is none, then there is none. So what? Yeah. Yeah, I don't either, I generally just leave them alone. I mean, they have to really be doing something outrageous, to for me to bring it up or bring them up. Just like the cabin in the woods guy. I brought him up in the beginning because I liked how he did some stuff. And then all of a sudden it took a right turn. And I'm like, where did he get that information from? So it happens to all of us. We're all going through these things, and of course he found that algorithm, the Bigfoot. You do things a certain way, you're just going to take off. It just happens. Um. Oh, here's Trackway. Hello.
Oh, hi there.
Were you waiting for your intro? I didn't give it this time.
No, I just
How have you been?
oh, hang on. For some reason, I'm getting two audios.
Uh-oh. Yeah, my system did an update, my OBS, and it knocked everything out. So an hour before the show, I was like testing, testing, trying to get everything to work. Oh, and every time I forget. And I even have it written down. But you can't even understand Oh, that looks horrible. What my writing is, you know, VB audio voice meter, VAIO option 5, B voice meter mic output B1. I was like, holy shit, I wrote down the answers, but I don't know what I was saying.
Oh, I'm just using my phone again. I had YouTube still open. That was getting both audios.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because I have it playing over here too, so I can know if I go offline. But if I have to remember to turn the volume off, otherwise it's playing in my ear and both of them are playing.
This is kind of cool because I actually have it up on the TV and I can actually see
Oh.
chat for a change.
Oh, nice. You just have to toggle it, but it's a pain to do that. Sometimes you hit the button and then you log yourself out.
I mean, I've got a computer all set up now for this kind of stuff. I just, well, I guess I'm going to have to actually figure out how it works. But
now you have to start teaching yourself. And I mean, it's a process, you know. For me, I always said it was teaching, you know, an old dog new trick type of thing.
mm-hmm.
But just you make mistakes and you learn and
I don't
try to
know.
remember.
I always thought that I had a face for radio and a voice that should be best heard underwater, but that's me.
Yeah. So what do you think about evidence and, you know, where do you think the whole state of Bigfoot research is going?
Well, I mean, you got some people out there that are, showing their best. Jonathan, Mike Ann does a lot of teaching on how to collect. He doesn't tell you what to collect, but he teaches you how to collect and what to have at the ready. So, I mean, you do have this group of people that are still in that niche. And then you have another group of people that are doing entertainment because that's kind of how they previously viewed it. They never viewed Bigfoot as being a topic. They always viewed it as being an entertainment. And I would say that has a lot to do with some of the other channels up to the north. There are quality channels out there doing stuff. And I've met quite a few of them over the past couple of years and had some rather good conversations with them. And there's some people out there doing the hard work. That's for certain. Unfortunately, I think that they're outnumbered by people who think that Bigfoot is entertainment, and so they produce themselves in an entertainment format. And the people I think they're doing good work. And talking with Cliff. Cliff is out there 2 or 3 times a week. You mentioned How Bet Holler earlier. They're doing good work. A little bit, they're doing good work. Joe is, anytime I've talked with Joe, Joe is just like talking with a walking encyclopedia. His depth of knowledge and his recall is amazing. Trying to think, I can see his face, but I can't think of his name. Off Mark Marcel's, his research that he's doing.
Yeah.
There are, it's just, you take a look, there's people out there that are, they're trying their best to present something in a reasonably good format. Jonathan, I mean, 4 hours he worked on them fingerprints that came off my truck. And he was very astute. It's not an easy job. It's not easy work. So It's, you know, I
It
got
it
four.
is um how do I put this? You're gonna go through a lot of different people until you find who you trust,
Yeah.
who is more in line with the way you would do things. And I think that's what drew me towards this side, to this groups.
Hmm.
Back in, when it was mainly Squatch Talk and Joe and with Western New York Bigfoot and it led to knowing the Buckwas Crew boys and all of their stuff and then
Oh yeah.
you get to choose and you realize this is the way I want to go. This is I feel is more to how I feel a real research or a real investigation should go. And these are the people I'm going to follow. You know, like Squatching Cowboy, he just showed the truth. He showed himself. This is what I've got. This is what I found. This is what, I'm going out and doing without the fluff, you
Yeah.
know? And
And
sometimes that doesn't result in much and people find that a little boring, but that's the truth,
well, I mean, look at look at what I'm doing. Um,
Yeah.
Look how large my channel is. Now, one of those people that flat out refuses to ask anybody to subscribe or anybody to like or whatever, because I would rather be, noted for doing the right thing rather than doing
Yeah.
the internet thing, however you want to say it. But, you know, it's,
Right. It
it's, well, I was lucky. I'm kind of bouncing back and forth here. Because was talking about Joe, and yeah, Joe was one of the first ones I met too, and Joe's the one that really drew me in. But at this point, I've totally forgotten what the first question was.
oh, it was just the state of Bigfoot research, but and we've all grown because I'm totally different from the person when I first came into this community. I believed everything. I was like totally enamored with all these different groups and I was looking at everything. And it took a while for me to realize that not everybody was telling the truth, that, some of this stuff was just made up baloney. And and it takes you a while to go through that. And that's why, I wanted to have a channel where people could say, "Hey, I saw this," and I can say, "No, that's not what this. Go look at episode blah blah blah," and I tell you all about it. And it was a place where I could archive my findings, you know,
Okay.
because I wanted it to be easier for the next person who comes down the line and not have to go through years of BS and get straight to, the real stuff, the real research, because there are a lot of people, even some we may not like, but they're out there every day. You can't beat a person who's actually out there, every week or every weekend. They're still doing the boots on the ground. Maybe you don't like them, but they're still out there more than me. So um,
Well,
but that's what I like, and
yeah,
many people don't.
just getting out there. That's step number one. Staying out there for learning how to stay out there for long periods of times. That's step number two. But yeah, I never, outside of the channels and stuff, I never really got into too many different channels to watch myself. In fact, I've watched very few, if any, these days, simply because you know, either they don't sync with me or I just don't find them interesting. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
So with
Right.
if I'm it's like 4 channels I might watch, 4 or 5. Um, as of right now, in the last couple months, I've barely watched any shows except for 3 of them off the top of my head. But
Oh,
I,
Mike Ann took Joe's Jeep.
yeah,
For some reason, I thought Matt had taken Joe's Jeep.
um, no, he
Weird.
just recently got it. I don't think it ever was sold, if I remember the story right. And then when he purchased it, he let Jen and I know that he has it now, and that he'll be fixing it up,
Oh.
getting it back into shape. Excuse me.
Watching Cowboy says, and when I got a chance to get monetized, I turned it down. Yeah. Same with Brent. Brent had a big opportunity and sponsorships, and he's turned them all down because he knew, people would use that against him. He
Yeah,
knew it.
you take a look though. In some cases, as far as buying equipment and stuff, this isn't cheap. I mean, I don't really hold anything against anybody for monetizing because of it. And all my travels this
Yeah.
year was done on my dime, out of my pocket. All my equipment is out of my pocket, and
Yeah.
basically, you're doing all that. And I'm not a video guy, as Matt Larson's pretty much told me. You're not a video guy. Why are you doing videos? And sorry, I've got Freya here all of a sudden wanting affection. And but yeah, that stuff's not cheap, and I don't really put anything against anybody that does monetize for it. You think about it, and it kind of got to me too, just the gas and the wear and tear in your vehicles and going out and everything. That's all on your dime to
Brent's got a couple of vehicles where he's knocked off his mufflers.
yeah, well, that's easy to do out there. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was something. We went down that trail and I had that big old truck, and Graz warned me about getting big trucks. And we went down that trail, and Brent's in that small car and he's just ducking and weaving and everything. I got no choice. I had to go straight down that trail. I couldn't miss anything, and all I could hear was the sound of the paint being scraped off.
Oh God.
Oh, that was a
Yeah.
trip. But yeah, I really don't. I don't know. I mean, the monetization thing, I don't think anybody's really turning a whole lot of coin. Um, that's just my opinion. Gary Reed up north there in Canada, he's been doing this for a while. He doesn't really, and then granted, he's got um, outside of Bigfoot a pretty good life, but it really doesn't seem like um, this really is paying the best. Oh, Freya. Okay, so I got an 80-pound dog here wanting affection, and she's still a pup, but she's knocking me over for the affection. There she goes. She's calmed down. So, but now she's charged back up. There we go.
Oh, there's Scott from Scotch America. How are you? Hope you guys are doing well.
Hey, Scott.
Yeah, I understand that, Joe. That's one reason why he stopped doing his videos. He just got where it wasn't fun anymore. And I think that's a big part of it. You have to really love what you're doing and try not to get too serious. I mean, I get into serious topics, but when I'm out there, I'm having fun. My whole thing is that I think we're gonna have more success bringing a Bigfoot in than actually looking, going out and looking. But finding a place to park out in an area where you're making yourself open and available and hoping something comes to you.
And that's, you brought up a point there that I've been meaning to say something about, whether or not people realize it, that, part of the pitfall of doing this, of making the videos and stuff, is actually YouTube itself, in that it drives you, to constantly make more content. You feel pressure to make content. And, it's, you get that review once a week or whatever, says, you had this many viewers, this many blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
And can you do better? It's like, hey, can you make us more money? Can you put out more content and make us more money? So,
For sure.
I don't think people realize that's a pitfall of this platform.
Do you think that Bigfoot evidence is actually being hidden for profit? You think there's groups out there that have proof and are holding it back? Because that's what some are insinuating, is that they have the golden tickets and they're not showing it.
No, because, from a human resources standpoint, and the reason I'm going to say this, and this comes from human resources, there is a personality trait called the information hoarder. It gives them power by withholding information. I have this, you can't see it. And so, and, knowing that behavior pattern, I would say probably not. I think you're more likely to have people that are holding on to information, credible evidence and so forth, because they're afraid of the ridicule.
Yeah. I do that, grasshopper. Shut up. It is fake. It is. It's me walking around out in the woods.
Oh, the approach videos and so forth.
Yeah. Brent does that a lot too. Well, when you're by yourself, what are you gonna do? Do something. Make it interesting a little bit. Ouch.
That was the other thing I thought too, that I think you could do a show on as well, because I'm not satisfied with the equipment for this.
Oh,
I'm not. And a lot of it has to do with the field of view, or the depth of field. And I myself don't know what is a good answer for the shortfalls. The GoPros, the DJIs, they're not the right thing.
look at this itty bitty little camera. God. Hold on. Let me take it off the holder. If I can. Well, I'll just leave it on the holder. Anyway. Look how tiny that is. It's a little no-name SQ8 video recorder that it's mostly used for like when you want to body cam something, but I think I'm going to try it on my head so I don't have to put the great big GoPro up here. I'll wear the GoPro on my chest and then put this up here, so when I turn my head, of course, this doesn't see well in low light, so you have to have a light for anything to come out on that. But this little one does have a motion sensor on it. So you could set it up on this thing I have here. Hold on. Like that. And then you could hook it onto wherever, you know. But once again, it'd have to be during the day because there you'd have to have a light source for anything to get picked up.
Yep.
But
I think the thing that I've come to realize is like, with the GoPros and, the small sensor cameras, is that you're relying on them when you're using them. You're relying on having an encounter within 25 yards, 20 to 25 yards. 30 yards is too far. And the reason why I say that is, I also recorded video while I was hunting. And I know what 30 yards is and range finders. And, I got a laser rangefinder whenever I'm out. And, the 30-yard shots are terrible. That's not that far away by eye. But on camera, it take a video of it, watching it is a deer, not a Bigfoot. The deer looks so small until, they get within that 20 to 15 yard range. And that's been one of the key issues that I've been looking at, because most of these, and I'm sorry for all the background noise, most of these type of things are greater than 30 yards, I think. Joe's encounter, there's a few encounters that are shorter, like Jay's, Joe's, whatever I saw that night. And those, 10 yards, 10 to 20 yard encounters aren't as common as those that 20 to 60 yard type encounters.
mm-hmm.
So that's been one of the issues I've had with the cameras. Hold
on. What was the other question I was going to ask? When I was asking earlier about if groups are hiding information or hiding evidence, you have groups that are out there currently saying we've got evidence, but you got to wait till it comes out, right? I've got this video and you have the Todd Gatewood stuff and how he has redone the PNG film, and it's now going to make it look, now you're definitely going to believe it because he has redone the PNG film, to anyway, I don't think there's anything more that can be done to that film that hasn't already been done.
on.
So it doesn't seem likely that he's going to have anything outstanding or change my way of thinking about it or anything in any way, shape, or form.
That is a little bit different from somebody who's, supposedly hoarding information, as opposed to somebody who is signing NDL or NDA. Understood?
Yeah.
NDA. So that's a little bit different type scenario if it exists. So,
right.
Do I think that there's people that have signed NDAs that are waiting on whoever is the holder of that NDA to say stuff? Yes. Yes, I do. Now, why they're holding NDAs on material, I don't know. Or why they're holding that material, I don't know. Unless they're of the mindset of, I want to capture more quantity and then present it all in the quantity format, which I can understand because it's kind of how I feel about something that I have in my collection, that I want to see if I can capture this again before I ever present it, because, I'm going to present an argumentation that this is real and this has happened. I need to have more material to go with it. It's more, you get into that supportive documentation. And,
Right.
That's a key piece. Now, keep in mind the stuff that I'm talking about isn't related to Sasquatch. When I say that, something that I'm holding on to, it's
Right.
something totally different related.
Right. Wizard makes a good point that he says, if I said yes, I do have some items of interest. I feel it would be almost bragging, so I shouldn't, so I won't. So that's his way of saying, maybe if I did have something, I don't show it because I just, don't want anybody to say anything negative about it. But
Mm-hmm.
that's where, you keep gathering evidence. At some point, you're going to have to share. Sharing is caring, John. We want to know what you got there. You put it in a good video. You make a video about it and you say, hey, this is what I found. And I don't know what it is, but it's interesting. And you're documenting it. That's about all you can do these days is just document and hold on to it until you have enough. I don't know. You have enough. I don't know when will be enough.
That's a good question because, like, I have a trail cam photo myself, but the issue that I have with it that we took in West Virginia, and I'm probably going to talk about it here soon because, what happens if I go and it's not out there? But the problem with the photograph is the camera only took one picture the entire time, and it took this one picture. And I haven't talked about it or really showed it around or said anything about it because, number one, I don't have a comparative photograph. That we talked about something on a program. I think it might have been yours, where I said if you put out a trail camera, when you set it out to trip it, and when you collect it, trip it, so that you always have comparison photos to check against. This one particular instance, I only got one photo. The photo's got two suspect images in it. But the problem I have with it is I don't have a second photo. I don't have a comparison photo. And unfortunately, I used the camera that, I was doing the whole thing on the I-40 camera, which is the camera that was used for the Vermont apple pitcher. So there was a major manufacturing defect with that particular camera from 2005. When you bought the camera, it was $250 at the time to purchase. And it went out to everybody. It went out to the public with a major manufacturing defect in the LCD control panel.
Yeah.
And, you go to the repair boards and stuff like that. It was pretty bad. Moultrie was replacing the boards left and right. Well, I just took that camera. My camera had the same problem. Put it out. And that's the camera that caught the photo. And the other part of the problem is not only did it not take a second photo or a third or any other photo, it only took in 4 megapixels. So it really doesn't have any meat to really work with in the photograph. Yeah, it's not like anything that's going to win any, it's not a hallelujah photograph in my mind. It's simply, it's a photograph that's got 2 questionable items in it, and I can't, unfortunately, present any supporting documentation for it or debunk it, and I can't go back to the property.
So. Wow. It's not as good as the Jacobs photos, are they?
No.
Is it?
No, this isn't
Look,
that good. I at least I don't think that
yeah,
Jacob's photos. The bear.
yeah, and I do think the Jacob's photos are bears. So is a bear. So
Yeah, I mean the guys out in Bluff Creek project caught a photo of a bear in the exact same position.
exact position,
So
yeah. Yeah, I had that on my show. I don't have it right now though.
now this
Um,
has the anomalies in the photograph, and I probably should have shared it before I even talked about it. There's something in the background. There's something that looks to be going up the hill, but I can't rule out that that thing going up the hill isn't a tree, and I can't rule out that thing in the background is a stone because I got nothing to debunk it. I got nothing to support it,
mm,
and unfortunately, I don't have any timeline because if I had timeline, because I was talking to somebody, said, "Is that a silhouette up there on the hill?" And I think then Jen said, "Well, if you think it's a silhouette, you should go up there and um, check it out." And I said, "Okay, hold my beer." And I went straight up the side of that hill, chasing after it. And if that would have, coincided with that timeline, um, I would have felt better about it, or anything. But
mm,
I don't think, as of right now, I think you look at it, it's not definitive proof of anything. It's just a photograph.
yeah, interesting. Yep. Um, Squatch America Scott said, I have a hair sample that I sent handed to Dr. Jeff, and I haven't gotten an answer from him in 5 years. That's a long time. That's a long time to be holding on to something, or not to get answers. Even if it was, no, it wasn't, it was a deer or it was bear or whatever, it still, you should have gotten some kind of something. I don't know. That's crazy. 5 years.
Well, it is nice, and a lot of people have been saying more lately about, they would like to hear more out of South Carolina, I think it is. Darby Orcutt's collection.
Oh, yeah. We
You
haven't
see
had an
how that's
update,
going?
have
Mm -mm.
nothing. That's been a little while. And Untold Radio's Doug Hychek is releasing LMS2 here pretty soon, I hear. Um so that's, in the future too. Cuz I'm pretty sure I dropped picture of that. Hold on, in messages over here. Let me see what it says. Sasquatch Legend Meets Science 2 2-hour special coming soon. A new film from the producers of Monster Quest and Mountain Beast Mysteries. I had questions about Justin Chernopinski, who is from Mountain Beast Mysteries. I thought he was not going to be doing LMS2. I guess now he is. I don't know. But it's supposedly coming out this summer and it's supposed to be groundbreaking. So we shall see what comes of that. Oops. I donated to it so that I could have my name on it.
I didn't, I mean, no, I didn't get in on that.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing I can
It was
say,
or something to have your name, and then I think you get Legend 1 and Legend 2, a copy. But it's been over a year, so who knows how long it's going to go.
the only thing I can say about Doug is that, when he does his Untold Radio, the way he's kind of hunched over, whatever, gives you the perception that he's a small man until you meet him and you find out this guy isn't small by any stretch of the imagination. You know, you're looking straight up at the fella. He's a big guy.
Oh, Doug Highcheck?
Oh yeah. He's probably 6'3", 6'4", I don't know, somewhere in that.
Yeah.
He is actually a very tall man.
Says part 2 still hasn't been made yet, and he got 95,000 for that show. It's been over a year and a half. Yeah, it's been a while. I don't know.
It could be a post-production thing too.
Yeah.
So,
I think that's all I had for tonight. I had a discussion on how different people perceive the research community, but we all know that. We all have our own standards. I kind of talked about that already. What do you want to see more of in Bigfoot research?
do I want to see more?
Yeah, what would you want to see
A
more of in
Bigfoot.
Yeah, of course.
Probably more long-term type stuff. You know, situations like we were in last year, where we spent 2 days in one spot, 2 days at the next spot, 2 days at the following. It was, you know, a little bit too hectic, and I think more long-term type research would work out better. If I would have got to spend probably someplace, an area or whatever, Jonathan and I and Brent, 4 days together out there, 4 or 5.
Mhm.
I think the longer that you stay in one area, the better off you are. And that
I agree.
goes not only for out west, you know, because we pretty much did the same thing when we went up to New York. 2 days
Uh-huh.
here, 2 days here, 2 days there. So we was constantly on the move.
Yeah.
I think another thing too would be about the expectations of, you know, what you see when you go out there, because there's a lot of stuff that is associated with the phenomenon that probably isn't at all in my mind. I
Yeah.
haven't said a whole lot about it, but um, I'm feeling more and more that the percentage of stuff that's being reported, I don't think reported non-cited. I think I don't think a huge portion of that is actually associated with phenomenon. I mean, like you were touching on earlier, the wood knocks. Oh, I heard a wood knocks. That's Bigfoot. No, that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. I got hit by a rock. You know, I don't. A lot of that has changed for me, particularly because we was talking about when we had our tent set up there, and the one night Deb felt something push in on the tent or hit the tent, and it shook her air mattress, woke her up. I think she said she saw it. Did you see it? Okay, she didn't see it. She just felt it. And then the following night, I felt something that it kind of felt like a thumb going across my back, and you know, we could have both easily said, you know, oh, that's got to be Bigfoot related, but you know, especially where it felt like a thumb being run across my back through the tent. Um, there's um, detector, a proximity detector directly behind me, pointed at my back.
Uh-huh.
And we're pretty sure that, you know, in that case there, it wasn't Bigfoot related at all. It was ricochets from acorns and stuff falling. Um, Stuff like that has
Yeah.
changed my viewpoint on a few things.
Oh.
Uh,
Well, yeah,
wouldn't
getting out there, and feeling. You never know how you're really gonna react to things, um, because I know things have changed for me since Mount St. Helens, but I mean, I still wish that I can still go out and walk and hike and do all this stuff, but in the back of my mind, you think about, well, what was that? What that was interesting. What was that? Whatever it was big. We know there's bear and bear are big. We know there's elk and deer and they're big and they can be mean too. So, I'm more afraid of the animals I know about at this point, but I still had a freeze moment that I couldn't control. So,
I mean, last year and going through, um, one of the other creatures that I was looking for was a bear. We know there's bear in New York. We knew there was bear out there where we was at, out in British Columbia and in the Cascades. Never saw a bear. Never saw a single bear while we was out there. In fact, when we was out there out west, I only saw one deer the entire time. Unlike Ohio, where you step out your front door and we have a herd running around our house, and we live in the burbs. So, some of that there, when you go out looking for Bigfoot, you automatically self-tune yourself, or what's the proper terminology for it?
Bigfoot on the brain.
Yeah, but it also exists, in deer hunting and fishing. Oh, how many fishermen have you met who talk about the 10-pounder they didn't pull in because what they actually did was their fishing hook hit a log underneath the boat. It wasn't a giant fish; it was a stick.
Oh, yeah.
So you get tunnel vision is probably the better terminology, I would think. You do that with deer for years, not Bigfoot related. I thought everything was a deer, and here it'd be a squirrel or a muskrat. So, not a muskrat, a deer or a chipmunk. But when you go out there and you go looking for Bigfoot, and I had this talk with both Brent and Jonathan in the Cascades, um, because you run into a moment, you're looking for Bigfoot, um, you're going to be thinking that it's Bigfoot right off the bat, and that's
He says buck.
buck fever, however. Because like when we came down the road and I saw the two eyes 7 feet up, um, I knew they were close together, so I automatically thought, I knew that was a barred owl when I saw it, the red eyes. This all happened right before Brent had something outside his tent, but we hadn't identified it at the time. But then I had that scream of, it sounded like a little kid right in my ear as I'm driving Jonathan's truck. And, I would only figure out staring at a static camera that there was martins in the area, and martins make this scream that sounds like a little kid. So, pretty sure, in my mind in the moment, I'm like, oh, that's got to be Bigfoot. But then once I started digging through stuff, then most likely that was a martin right in my ear. And then the Pennsylvania video, I don't know if you've seen that, where I turn and I'm looking in the woods. I got eye shine at 7 feet up. It's moving. I'm thinking it's Bigfoot. I'm doing the whoa, 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 whoa things, which I get picked on by everybody about. And, once I start diving into it, digging into it here, it's a bird at 7 feet up moving across in the background. And it's given the illusion that there's a 7-foot creature out there giving me, I shine back. So, and that, we recorded that. The only way that I capture that, of course, is I'm using the head cam or my helmet cam, and was able to dig into that and pull out. Hey, okay, I could digging into what I could have said that was Bigfoot, but thank goodness I didn't, because it's actually just a bird.
Yeah.
Yes.
There are a lot of animals out there that make a lot of different sounds. We don't know all of those sounds. That's why it's so important to, video those sounds and record them and document them for the next time you go out and the next time. And,
Mhm.
it's just repetitive stuff. And Jen
Those
says we with love.
they never. Well, don't ask them about Andy, but yeah, Deb's laughing about that one over here. But you're absolutely right, because you and I were standing there on that trail together, and we both heard that soft whoop, right?
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
So I have to go with what I've found, that every time that I've ran into these soft whoops, I have been in the presence of the barred owl,
Uh-huh.
or barred owls have been about. So that happened in Florida. It's happened in Pennsylvania. Happened in West Virginia. So I think
And we know
majority.
there we had that obvious screecher one
Yes, we
that
had a
was screeching
juvenile.
through that whole trail.
Yep, that was a
So we
juvenile
know
barred
that.
owl. Yep,
Yeah. Yep.
and
And
they'll
that's
bomb
pretty
you.
in the middle of the night. Yeah.
Whoa, a T-shirt. I see that, Jen. Oh, that's why.
That's
Okay, Freya's not giving me any peace because she thinks I've got treats in my pocket.
oh.
I had one sliver.
Well, thanks for coming on, Bill, and
Mm-hmm.
chat with me for a moment. And it's just some stuff I was thinking about. And, will we ever bring Bigfoot to the rest of the world? I don't know. I don't know if we need to. There's a lot of people out there who are knowers. They've seen them, and that's good enough for them. And they don't ever want to see them again. They want answers, but I don't think Jay would want to run into one ever again. I don't. I'm quite sure there's a lot of people out there who would want to take that for him. They would. I know, several people would say, "Yeah, put me out there. I want to see this thing. I want to check that off my list." But I don't know. I think the hunt is fun. I think it's entertaining and with a purpose. And I'm gonna keep trying to do it. And I look forward to hopefully this summer of getting out there and seeing what's out there. I mean, that's all you can do, right?
Yep.
Is continue to search and try to have a good time and get with people that you have similar feelings about what this thing is and it how it survives out there. I don't know. That's all we can do. So
Yeah.
anyway, thank you everybody for coming and joining me today. It was good. It was a good conversation. Stay on YouTube and head on over to Squatch TV. I'm kind of interested to hear what new findings or something new about the Bluff Creek Massacre stuff he has. It'll be interesting to see what's going on over there for sure. So please be sure to hit that like button before you leave, everybody. Hit it and appreciate y'all. been working a lot, and I wish I could do some more videos for you guys, but it is winter, so we mostly do our stuff during the summer and into the fall. So hopefully new things will come about, and I look forward to seeing everybody soon. Thank you, John. Night, John.
Yes, and John, I did see that up there about the walls, and you too, Jen. I will get. Okay, that's all.
Okay, definitely, Jen. I'll hit you up. And good night, everybody. Thank you again for sticking around. Love you all. Night.